hiring and firing people. So what made you join HR? Let me see from the chat as well. And here, panelists, people pause and think why they joined HR. Ooh, I enjoy working with people. I love that. That sounds familiar to me. I enjoy working with people. That's Mary right there. Let me see the rest of what they say. Oh, we also have insurance in this quorum. Good note. To solve solutions affecting people. Jackie, wow. You are a disruptor. I see there, Jackie. To solve solutions affecting people. Tell us, human resource experts in professionals in the house. Why did you join HR? What motivated you? What insights? What were you pursuing? Or what made you join HR? Opportunity to impact people's lives. People, I like that word, people. Digitizing HR. That sounds like it's in digital world. Geoffrey, awesome. My mentor. Oh, that mentor must have motivated you really good. The why. Oh yeah, the purpose. Ooh, that's deep. It's never easy. That's deep. That's deep. Thank you very much, Jen. Rose, you're saying conducive work environment in a world full of toxicity. Oh, that's also deep. Being able to drive positivity in a deep ecosystem of workplace. Yeah, that motivated you. You're deep. I would actually want to hear more. Edna, opportunity to serve people. People, I like that word. The processes of an organization. Fantastic. Barbara, engaging with people from different careers. Don't they sound awesome, impactful as well? Thank you. Keep them coming. Welcome to this session. Keep them flowing. Actually, want to know what motivates most of us HR to join, and whether it's we found what we actually were pursuing, or whether we got what we were actually pursuing in this, or we wanted to pursue. Did we find it? Or maybe you could tell us, did you find what you wanted? Like maybe I wouldn't go to the person who was motivated by the mentor, because I don't know what they were looking for. Like, for example, I've seen the why, your purpose that drove you to go to HR. Did you actually achieve it? Was it like what you thought? Engaging with people from different careers. Did you just find that when you came into HR? Use of people to drive organizations. How easy is that? Performance anchored to best practices. Maybe you could just tell us, and feel free, we're just sharing and dissecting this because we are in a world where the space is so disrupted, and we are questioning a lot about where we are, as well as whether the purpose you're pursuing really is relevant anymore to the workplace we are in or ecosystem we are in. So did you find it? Was it like the way you thought? Like interacting with people, and yet it has been a great journey. I agree. He likes interacting with people, but it's been a great journey. I like that. That's motivating. Did you find it? I'm actually looking for that answer. Like interacting, it's quiet, engaging, and you get to deal with different issues. No monotony is ever happening. Caroline, thanks for that. I think the panelists, you get the picture. Matangani, are we recording this? We should be recording this. Yes. Okay, fantastic. So maybe just to bring light in this discussion and the experience we're going through, Carol, I see you there, the dynamics. There is no boring day in HR. It's a busy day. We're going to hear a lot of this. What makes us busy? Is it strategic enough? Is it contributing now to where the life of the workplace is pointing the organization to? Because this is the disruption. I hear it's no longer in the future, it's here. So what are we doing? What are we adopting? What behaviors are we putting on every day? And how are they contributing really to the bigger picture, to our why, and really to our personal lives as well? So Matangani, please tell us, now that we know we're motivated by different things to be in the space of human resource or to be in space of our, professional expertise. And we walk in there and it's busy. It's busy. In fact, Mary is saying it was not what I expected. People are very complex. I hear you, Mary, and can be difficult to handle. Sometimes you can find yourself just running the motions of HR admin issues. I hear that, the routines in HR. In fact, that's a point we need to actually discuss at some point because it ties most of us in thinking strategically, right? So, Mathangani, demystify this, journey of thinking and then what we find in this profession.
Thank you. I really get excited about some of the responses that we have seen, especially as the some of us are saying, yes, maybe we wanted to work with people. Of course, we work with people, which is wonderful, but there must be something more that we wanted to work with people because when you go to join, somebody else has said it's an opportunity to help people. Maybe right now they may want to post to them, they don't have to answer. What were you helping them to do? What do you want to help them with? We also look at, I've had somebody say, is to engage with people from different careers. Yeah, wonderful. Yes, you meet all people from different professions and you come to learn a lot. And others find that maybe is to use people to drive or performance. That again is something that we can also think about. And the one that I found quite exciting is the person who has also said that it's not what we're expecting because people are very complex and difficult to handle. And the one who said they want to help people. Now, we all go to HR with all these perceptions. And I can share that 90% of questions when you're interviewing people and we ask them, why did you want to join HR? They always say, I want to work with people, I want to help people, which is wonderful. But we all join places to work with people, to help with people. Now, the thing about HR is, yes, you're dealing with people, and I agree with the person who have said they can be complex. And HR can also has no formula in some cases. In some places, it has formulas. People think HR is a soft thing, but as we are aware, dealing with people can also be very challenging. And therefore, you need to develop special skills to deal with people. HR is not soft. You make decisions that affect people's lives. Sometimes it gets emotional. There are emotive things like when you have to release somebody. You have to make a decision which you feel is going to hurt somebody, even in the worst case scenario, where yet you have to deliver this bad news. And some of us find it very difficult to do that. So HR, in as much as it is to help people, it's not only to help people. We are not helping people. We have a duty. We are making it better for people to work productively. We are helping organizations achieve the objectives through people. We are making people armed with the right skills to deliver, to do their jobs. We are there to stand in between what we can call the gap between management and the workers' interest. We are there to provide that platform. So at the end of the day, we have to make hard decisions. And if you have to survive also in HR, you must be the person who is able to make decisions in a fair, consistent, and right manner. And the greatest challenge we have with people who are dealing with HR is that sometimes we get carried by our emotions. We carry this softness, goodness. We say HR is for the people. Yes, it is for the people, but the people have to work within a certain structure with values, rules of engagement, outcomes, and expectations. So as HR, the greatest I hear from HR people is, how do I communicate this to my boss? How do I tell so and so they are not doing the right thing? How do I tell my best friend that they are not performing well? How do I communicate this bad news to this senior manager, to this other middle level manager, to the junior, to this person who I know has only gone to school, to this person who just delivered and I'm telling them to go home? Yes, it is your duty, but it is how you do it. And that is why somebody wrote somewhere that HR is not for the faint-hearted. You have to make the decision. You meet also very difficult employees, as somebody has said. You also meet very difficult bosses. You also meet very difficult toxic environments. So HR is not a soft thing. You deal with very hard decisions, and your success will depend on how you are able to make fair decisions, support the staff, also improve, realize what they may be doing wrong and what management may be not doing wrong. So as a beginning, let's just note that HR is not soft. There are hard aspects of HR, they're emotional, and you have to grow the skills that you need to handle that.
Wow, Mathangani, I think you're telling us the truth. Is that what they don't teach us in school? The reality we find when we hit our desks in the workplace?
To a large extent, nobody ever tells you in college that be ready to meet these toxic people. Nobody tells you be ready to work in a dysfunctional institutions. Nobody tells you be ready to meet this boss who thinks they actually are doing you a favor by employing you. And nobody teaches you how actually to handle them. So a lot of things we pick and we have to go out of our way. They teach us about communication, they teach us about employee relations, performance, how to develop a policy. But nobody teaches you how do you deal with an organization leadership that is not wanting to be compliant. Therefore, this is where you have to teach yourself, and now you have to look at where those are taught. And you have to look for extra skills or personal development to be able to navigate through that very challenging thing. And I don't know how many of us can relate. Did we go actually eager to help, to support? What did we find? You can share on the chat as we continue.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I can see people agreeing actually at that part of wow, yes, yes, so true. They don't teach you. In fact, Sarah Sayo, hello, you're there. They don't teach you that in school. You know, you learn that in these streets. They say in these streets of Life University. That does teach us a lot, and actually almost a lot of things on how we proceed. So true. El Museu is agreeing with that part. Yes. Thank you, Mathangani. Mr. Wasike George is agreeing and reckons that, especially on the employers who feel they are doing you a favor. Wow, that connects. I was never told that. It's true, but somehow you managed, you navigated your way up as you learn these things. So very, very relevant. And now as we talk on the on these complexities, like someone said, people are complex. But anyway, the other day we celebrated the fact that we are in human resource space, and we even said we love HR so much with all that complexity. And now we're not just embracing all this, we are living in a huge disruption that has been fueled again by the pandemic, and you are navigating very new, chartering new waters, still having to lead people element, which is ideally the organization, because I'm a proponent that believer that people are actually the organization. Without the people, there is nothing like an organization, and human resources are the helm of it. Talking about this digital disruption, a lot of things, and this I'm coming to you, Mr. Saleh Yusuf, have been disrupted, and there is a lot of expectation from the desk of HR to be able to drive the organization. Maybe you can give us a snapshot of how this disruption has impacted the space or the desk of human resource, even before we talk on how to get into it and how to drive all this. Give us the landscape how it's looking on the desk of human resource, Mr. Saleh.
Thank you so much, Damaris, for that eye opener. Actually, what Coach Mudangari was saying, just to add on the HR thing, actually, HR is defined as it's just like a parent. You're the parent or the pastor who has to deal with the kids growing up, discipline a little bit, and then move on. Now,
Yes.
back to the topic of the day, HR disruption or HR digital transformation. Basically, this is the transformation in the way HR functions, using data that we have, areas of HR, payroll, HR benefits, performance management, learning and disruption, development, rewards and recognition, etc. When you look at digital transformation, is done and is when it's done right.
Just,
Actually, it's
just,
like
just,
a
just a
caterpillar.
second, Mathangani. Yusuf. There's Penina. Penina, if you can hear me, Penina, kindly mute Mathangani.
Yes.
I'm trying to mute all here. I don't know whether
Okay.
your side you have all the rights there. Maybe
Let
you can
me,
check.
that's so, let me make you the host so that you'll be able to
We want to
pick them.
hear what Yusuf is saying without any interference.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's better. Thanks. So proceed, Yusuf.
Oh, thank you. It happens. This is what we call digital disruptions. You
Disruption.
can see how we are disrupted in this session. It's allowed,
Completely.
it's normal. So I was giving an analogy of a caterpillar, and we are saying when digital transformation is done right, it's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. But when it's not done right, all you have is just a fast caterpillar. So thinking about a caterpillar, now back in our organization, what is this digital transformation that we're talking about? I know there's a lot that has been talked about in terms of digital transformation, but important to mention is that if you remember, Damaris, we've come a long way. First was just to leave alone the analog things, manual way of doing things. So that one was done. And I'm impressed. Most of the organization have already actualized that you find seamless. Most of the operations are done on using a tool or a system. Now we came to big data, what people are talking about big data and analytics. So where we are now with the COVID pandemic, all these things have left people disrupted. And the
Yeah.
question is, how are we going to move way forward, even with the after the post-COVID, with all these investments that the organization are put in place, and the
Yeah.
HR, as you mentioned, we are the center of all this. We are the people who are supposed to drive the culture, the change of the organization, changing the mindset of people on why they should adopt these technologies that we've invested in. And if you look at digitization or HR digitization, we look at there are three different terminologies here. We have the digital world, we have digitalization, and then we have digitization. All these have a difference. And if you look at, for instance, digitization, this is just a process of moving from manual to digital. And when you're talking about digitalization, this is being an organization that is being led by digital, where now everything is leveraging digital tools and the day-to-day activities. And then the digital transformation is now the combination of the two, where now you're both you digitize and also digitalization. So the two are placed together. Now you have digital transformation.
Transformation.
And today, I just wanted to look at three focus areas. The people.
Before you go to the gist of where you're heading, allow me to interrupt you a bit, Yusuf, there. And that's actually, it's a picture of where we are coming from in terms of how we are evolving in the space of digital technology or information in the space of human resource. And I think you have articulated it very well up to where we are and embracing the challenge we are having in this space of the pandemic disruption. And thanks for that. Learning from digital world to digitalization, then digital transformation is where we are. And actually, if I may not be wrong, and I think I am right, is we are in a space where we're called to actually embrace in depth very effectively digital transformation and merge this in all aspects and functions of the workplace. And we are at the aim of it, human resource, together with our partners in the workplace, whether it's in IT or sales or other areas of or departments or function of the work. Thanks for putting that much in the discussion. I come back to you in those three elements you actually want to articulate, Yusuf, if you allow me. But I want to come into something I wanted to maybe also involve the participants to know on something you have mentioned. That now that we are called to be actually doing something, especially in the space of digital transformation, I'm actually tempted to throw in a question to our participants. Just feel free and tell us what is happening now in your workplace, or what agenda or initiative are you driving that is in the space of digital transformation at the moment. And the reason is because we're learning from, I mean, from every space, and it's called in this space of disruption. We all learn from each one of us. So what is it that you're doing as an HR, or as an IT expert, or someone? I've seen we have people from insurance. What is happening? What is it that is being championed in your workplace in the space of digital transformation to create efficiency and effectiveness to your work? I'm looking at the chat. Please use the chat so we can get to know what is happening in your space as we dive into the real disruption.
And maybe Damaris, as they do that, before I move
Yes.
even further, I think it would be very important to ask the big question here: why digital transformation?
Perfect.
And for me, I think three things come into mind: automation of processes, so that we can reduce the time around in delivering our service. Then,
Yes.
secondly, to maximize the employee experience, because
Good.
you realize if you employees also need to have that experience, they should be looking forward to go to work the next day. And then, lastly, is to use the feedback time, the freeze up time, the time that you remember you are maximizing the time using the technology. So the other thing is to look at that time that you've like you have it now that you've used lesser time or shorter time to perform your duties.
Yes.
How are you going to engage? How are you going to engage your employees with that? So those are the three reasons why digital transformation. And you realize we came to know the other day where I work that people have talent. You might be thinking this guy is just an accountant, but give them time. They have a lot of talents. We're seeing people now exploring their other talents: cooking, pastry, singing. You know, people have this, but you can only make this work interesting only when you go the digital transformation way and do it the right way. Back to you, Damaris.
Thank you. I like I like that. I like that the fact that we've been pushed actually even to think on what other areas are we actually good at. This reminds me of a discussion that was going on some platforms about what is happening now. People are working from home. They are actually pursuing some other things they have passion about, and the questions were really exciting that came through. Even in the workplace, you realize someone who's been in this portfolio is actually so empowered into to supporting other departments as well. So thanks for that. I still want to hear what our participants are doing in their workplaces at personal initiative in driving the digital transformation aspect. Whether you're driving it in your own, like Kenyans call it, the hustle, yes, in the side hustle, or in actually driving the agenda of your own department. We still want to know. Tell us what you're doing, initiatives you're pushing or you're riding in the workplace to drive the agenda of digital transformation in the human resource, as well as in whatever profession you're in. Kindly feel free to use the chat for that, so we can be able to tag in the lessons with what you're doing. But meanwhile, as we still talk into this digital disruption, and I think, Yusuf, you've given an overview, so it's something we are aware of what is happening. So I want to ask, what must now HR address in this transformation, in this digital transformation? What is it that HR needs really to focus on to succeed, or to rise up and lead this game of digital transformation. And Mathangani, maybe you could pick us and give us very insightful domain areas that HR need to be very antenna-like when it comes to this.
Thank you, Damaris. Yes, with digitalization and the impacts of computer processes, of the things that are changing within the organization. First and foremost is the general organization culture. One, maybe is how were we doing the things, how was the work being done? People are behaving differently. The culture will definitely be impacted because now, whether it is in a factory situation, it's in a service situation, everything is in a process, it's machine-based. So the culture started changing from what we were used to certain interactions, either as human beings, the kind of expectations, how we were pushing to get the results. Now they are basically driven by artificial intelligence through digital processes. We also expect to see that itself is also being driven by how the behavior, the workforce behavior will change. These days, in most organizations, we are finding there's a lot of interaction. So what do? We have to call, we have to send physical documents, we have to sign, we have to deliver, and we have to make certain follow-ups. But this era of transformation driven by IT and digital innovations is going to also change the demands on the skills that we have. So the skill sets will change. Now we are hearing a lot of people advertising for certain positions which were not existing maybe about 5-10 years ago. Digital marketers, process analytics and all that. That in itself will also change how we work because these are digital people. Therefore, how they operate is totally different. We know tech people, you find them walking in, if you are highly digital or organized IT-wise in your organization, people just start opening the computers and they just start clicking. You don't have to call, you don't have to call for a meeting, you arrange everything online. It is in the system. The expectations will also change because how do you manage these people who now you are not physically most of the time? I don't need to walk to third floor to take your document to talk to you. We are here. Two, the reporting will be very different. It is on a dashboard. So the employee experience will also change because there's not so much what we call direct supervision as in terms it will now be more of expectations. Then it is how work is done. I can work anywhere. It is automated. It's on a digital platform. We are seeing a lot of that. Your bank these days tells you don't have to get in here, please. We'll handle you. Your hospital tells you we will schedule your appointment. You go to a hotel. Some are coming with just more handheld gadgets. Others, they are just on the table. Make your order, it goes. When it comes out, somebody is informed your order is ready. So we'll have all this. This is how it's disrupting. How will this, so all these are going to be disruptions that we must, as HR, be ready to play a part. And as managers who also are within the organization, the interaction with HR is going to change a lot.
Thank you very much, Mathangani. I like what you're saying because I connect with it so much with what happens in most times. And maybe you could delve a bit in this space of how we need to disrupt ourselves as well as human resource in our domains, because ideally all functions of human resource, whether it's in talent management, performance management, or all that has been disrupted. And it goes to thinking a bit deeper on how we build efficiency and effectiveness as we adopt it into technology actually to drive that efficiency and effectiveness. How do we leverage on that as human resource? As they say, data, whether it's big data, is the new oil.
Good, thank you for that. In fact, as any leader of an organization, it doesn't have to be in HR. If you are an MEC, CEO, executive, business development, There are things that you must start thinking about, like how will the future of the organization look like? How quickly are you adapting to the new disruptions? So in future, we are going to see what we're going to call more diverse expectations from what we call a larger community. We often talk about stakeholders, shareholders, and all this, but now change is being driven externally. If your customers, if your stakeholders demand, that is your suppliers, maybe you don't have digital platforms in which they can be able to communicate with you, operate with you, they would better work with somebody. So the future organization will also have to be agile, adaptive, and that will also mean a change in the people in terms of how they will work and the skills they will need to work and how they need to be treated. We also look at how the future of the workforce is going to look like. It is changing, and we are going to see a lot of change in the traditional way of doing business, and hence the traditional way of managing the human resources. That is going to be, the traditional way will diminish. What we thought is very important is going to disappear. It will be there, but it's no longer a driver of business performance. What am I talking about? The things that HR, we actually spend a lot of time on. These are hygiene issues. They will be there, but this business will be expecting you to supply them with talent, to manage people expectations, to create better people experience. We'll be looking at teams working, what we call productive teams, integrated with each other. At the moment, HR and departments tend to work like separately. This change is bringing higher expectations and demands on each department. Safaricom, what it has introduced, which we had some times ago, is it has put in, if you are in a certain team to deliver a certain deliverable, you have everything in that team. You have a business, you have a marketer, a digital somebody, you have a HR person, you have an analytics person. So this is where we're moving. So as HR, we must be able to understand what is happening in those other places. And it will be a time of continuous learning. There is no way of saying, I just took you for a course last year or 2 years ago. Why do I need to spend me money? It's because it's being demanded by external factors, business demands, stakeholders, customer service delivery, its efficiency, it is processes, it is trust. So we are going to see a lot of that. Then we have to see a total mindset change. We must be prepared to change how we handle people. Every manager, the days of summoning people, the days of asking somebody, where are you? These days, everybody is carrying gadgets in your phone, in their car, small tablets, and they're able. I made a sale today. I've achieved 2% target. The mindset will be to change, becoming what Yusuf has said, not try to attempting to be digital, but actually being digital. I know, as he has said, a lot of organizations say, oh, we have an SMS message, therefore we are digital. The other customer wants online. I inquire, I get a response immediately. As you go back to Safaricom, they have Zuri. You are interacting with a machine. So machine intelligence, artificial intelligence. So a lot of that will come in. And how do we need to prepare for this? We need new skills. Employees need new skills. HR needs new skills to work with high-tech, millennial, fast-paced people. So there will be non-traditional approaches to how we deal with people. We will need leadership. And here is the gist of the matter. Now we have a highly, what I can call technically qualified people. But what most organizations, a research was done by KPMG, it said, while we have this, people are lacking now the leadership. So this is where now training in leadership, coaching, because it's getting the best of the people, the interactions, the empowering them. We will see a lot of that. We will change from what we call central-driven initiatives to what we call now focus on people. You're not sitting somewhere and you're directing everything. No, let the people be the one. So that is why the model, which is still controversial in Kenya, but in other places, you'll find it even in some local organizations. Teams are just formed and you are empowered. So we are going to see more powerful people empowerment. Deliverers for this. That team will seek for funds, they will have a budget, they want to do research, market research, they have everything in their team. So we'll see a shift on people. Then we see more personalized workforces. These days, you're not just computer, you're not just HR. You come in as people culture management. Recently, there was a job advertised by KPMG, Kenya. It was a HR job. I can bet a few HR people skipped it because there was no word HR. The only reference to HR was somewhere at the bottom, which referred to you must belong to a professional HR body. Everything was transformation, people and culture, empowerment, engagement. So expect in the next 5 years, the word HR will be to safeguard the way accountants, they are no longer accountants. So this mindset, we have to prepare to gain new skills, which are people engaging. Then we'll be driving what we call quality and quantity. HR must be able to use data, not only for HR data, but HR from other business units and see how it can demonstrate its value. What we do traditionally, we are very busy with the dates of births and what number of children, number of leave days, and all that and all that. They are wonderful. You must have those right. Compliances is very important. Those are the hygiene issues. But now we want to have data which can demonstrate that we added value, quality. Did you get the right person? Yes. Has this person made an improvement? How do I demonstrate that? That is where HR analytics and data comes in. And without that, we must focus and know what is business using as a measure. Then we'll integrate ourselves. So with that, we are able to play our part. And if we are not ready, the departments will be doing their work. They will actually be telling you, we have gotten a digital marketer because they told you to get one, and maybe HR is still struggling with a people analytics person. It's new, but the other person is very clear. So those are the things that we might prepare ourselves to remain relevant and to transform. So if you're used to giving orders, please, this is no longer time. You'll be dealing with a dashboard. If you're told to write a show cause letter, it's back to the data, it's not going to seek, and you must support the managers, just like Yusuf did. The managers have to take a front role, but it is you to demonstrate that.
Oh, that's lovely. That's deep. In fact, what you're telling us, you just have to disrupt yourself. You must disrupt yourself, otherwise, the train is coming. It's going to pull you off the rail. It's not going to be a nice one. And I like the deep nuggets that you're articulating right there on how the reality is, because you're no longer talking about a future of anything. It's right here. It's right here, right now with us. And it's a matter of evaluating where we are and what are we doing in this space. I like what you said again there on decisions, because they're being made every day out here. And we are not at par with that. Imagine you're being left behind. So like we say in the world of change management, when a change happens, we say the game changes. And when a game changes together with the rules. And so we expect some new behaviors, including what you're talking about, new skills, desirable skills, to be able to handle the new game. And that's where we are. Have we acquired the new skills? A bias. Someone says invest in yourself, but we invest in myself. In what skills and what relevant skills? A good question there. Saleh, I want to bring you on board. We've touched about what is shifting in the workplace, the people aspect, the work itself, as well as how we measure performance, because that's a key element in our workplaces, even in our personal life. Give us a bit of a glimpse on how we are transforming in the space of digital transformation and HR in these elements of people, work, as well as performance.
Yeah, thank you so much, Damaris, for that question, and Coach for your for your insights there. Now, if you look at people, digital technology transformation has really shaped the way people are. Distinct people. We are dealing with very high tech people now. This is not just an IT. You know, I think some time back, everybody was scared of IT people because they thought maybe these are the only guys with supernatural power in terms of technology. But now this is changing. You realize a lot of people now own those gadgets that Coach was talking about. I mean, people are now exposed, and even to make it, is it worse or better? The lockdown now had made a lot of people now go and improvise on how they can get service to themselves. Now, back to people, you realize people are all over social media. For instance, let's talk about these people accessing social media, the power of social media, the LinkedIn feedback for HR. Your key role here is to look at feedback using technology. So you have to be on high alert. What is happening? We've seen the power of they call it the Twitter. They educate you something today. Anything just go on Twitter, and it's a trend. So you have to be on top of things, utilizing the technology that we have. And people, because people, they will want to communicate the easiest way. So our role as HR is to give feedback. You realize there's something that has been brought on social media, your role is to come out and give feedback. Because the moment you give that gap, you lose that opportunity to manage your people in a more positive way, and to influence them. So the role of HR, actually, if you look at it, is to influence the changing the mindset of people. We are not refusing people to use those social media, for instance, the WhatsApp, but the thing is, are we in control of it? What structures do you have to ensure that people operate within the lines, within the agreeable? I mean, people don't bully others. We've seen the other day, I don't want to mention, Coach, you remember, one of these things that was happening in the election, a member was bullied on social media, and it was not good. So we are saying, as HR professions, how are we ready to tackle this? Also important to mention, in matters of work, you mentioned about work, Damaris. Look at, for instance, Glasgow. Glasgow today, we coming from a tradition where it was only the employer who would go do a reference check or a background check on an employee that wants to hire. But now we are seeing this shift that even employees now can go and do a reference check on you as an employer, and specifically you as a HR. So what are you doing? Meaning you have to be alive. Ensure anything you are doing, you're doing it the right way and the best way possible within the laws that are there. Back to you, Damaris.
Thanks, Yusuf. In fact, it's changing in all facets. I like what you're mentioning about. It's no longer about managing the space in the workplace and what's happening in us, uh, because we are so interwoven in the technology, on the media and communication platforms we have. And not very long ago, we've seen actually these things even play in the social media, even the WhatsApp groups, discussions about decisions in an organization just coming out, and even people are calling out the head of human resources of that organization, and they don't even belong in that organization. And we're living in this reality of being aware of what technology and the role it can actually play in shaping reputations, in shaping brands of organizations, in even coming into the aspect of talent management, because people look or work in different and various organizations for various reasons. And whatever the reason is, they have towards an organization or leadership of an organization is what they base their decision on. So these are some of the things we are finding ourselves that we need to be aware of as we make and adopt technology, and how we tap in these platforms, as well as transformation of, we are writing and guiding this transformation of digital transformation in our workplace. I like again about, you want to add something before I move?
Yes,
Okay.
Damari. On the aspect of performance management, very
Yes.
interesting. And we've had this conversation for a very long time, and performance management is not going anywhere soon. We'll just have to continue reevaluate how we're going to appraise our people and manage performance at workplace.
That's
But
true.
interestingly, we are seeing. Let me look at the time to come. We are seeing a scenario where this performance management will be the issue or the main issue for the managers, but not the subordinate. Where now, as a manager, whether now I'm talking because I realize we have also insurance people here and other from other professions. It's no longer now an HR thing. Is that you as a manager, you're the vision bearer. You're the one who is supposed to lead the team to ensure they achieve the objective. So what we are going to see with the technology and all this transformation is that in days to come, it will be the managers to be evaluated, not the team, because you are hired there to lead that team, and the KPIs, you're the one who ensure that people achieve their KPIs. So this will be a very, this is a big, going to a very, this shift is going to disrupt how people operate, and people, I mean everybody in an organization, and that there's now need for us as managers to start. You talk about reskilling, embrace the coaching as one of skills that you should have, mentorship, so that you can continuously coach your team and to ensure that they lead them. Just like a coach, you train your team in preparation for to win a big match. So the same way, come back to our workplaces, it is now the responsibility of managers. If you are not yet started, this is the time to start.
Mhm.
Thank you, Damaris.
Thank you for adding that, Yusuf. Very relevant. Performance management is an issue, actually. It's a function that's not going anywhere, but we agree and appreciate it's evolving. It's evolving, including a lot of ways of what we measure, how we measure all the metrics we use currently, and the manner in which we need to do all that requires some new reskilling, like coaching. I bet that if I have the responsibility of, you call them the 50, 40, or 30, meaning I have a certain level of
Yes.
responsibility in actually accounting for a certain goal to a certain level as a manager. And I depend on delivery from a certain team, then I had better make that team a high performing team, a team that delivers, a team that's agile. And so what do I need? I ask myself to be able to do that. That calls for reskilling. And I completely concur with what Yusuf is saying. So thanks very much. I'm seeing some chats flowing in for people agreeing with what you're saying. Stephen Wandera, like in insurance, yes, this was to the discussion Matangani was putting across there. Digital technology has shifted in the market. Buyers now hold power. He calls it the inbound sales. I like that, the inbound strategy for sales, and virtual platforms like before. Yes, that's transformation and its integration in responding, because as even the work is evolving, I'm telling you, the customer is also evolving, the stakeholder is also evolving, and we have to evolve at path for us to be able to respond effectively to their needs. Very, very in line there. Thanks, Stephen, for sharing that. There's Vio Conditi. You're right, Yusuf, I think to something you're saying about background checks. This is what technology is actually allowing people to do. And it's not going back, it's forward. For employers, it's real. Hence, the role of HR in employer branding, very key. And I think that's what I was talking about. Organization, reputation, your brand, because it's going to get out there. I'm telling you, like Yusuf have said, everybody is now on a platform. Your employees are on a platform, and their platforms they are sharing. What are they sharing? You need also to think about what are they sharing. Is it bringing the light of a great brand of how they work? Are they articulating very excited about the culture they work in? Because these are other very important initiatives that help build the reputation or the brand of an organization. Otherwise, if I want to join your organization, I just need to go on LinkedIn, Blue Concepts Africa, I key in the people, I check on their post, and I'll be able to tell you, I'm telling that management of that place, I don't like the way they talk, performance is not. And someone just makes a decision from that, empowered by technology. And so how are we leveraging on this as HR is a big question in the room. Thanks very much, Bio, in response to what Yusuf was articulating to. So as you can hear, it's deep, it's exciting at the same time. Like I said the other day, celebrating human resource. I love human resource management. And so I like to come back to you as we wind up this, Mathangani, kindly. Just something small I want you to maybe bring out clearly. How will the future, I don't like calling it the future because it's here. How is it looking like in terms of community diversity expectation and how integrated systems and teams to drive productivity are looking like? Just in one or two.
Oh, thank you, Damaris. And what we're going to be seeing very soon is a drastic shift in how both the people management role is going to increasingly become important. Organizations have invested in technology, and what they are looking for are people to make effective use of that technology to achieve what they call the promise to the customer and the stakeholders and the people inside the organization. So we're going to see a higher demand on HR to deliver on the people. And what they are looking for are people to transform how a work has been done, manage the new workforce behaviors as a result of the technology, increase what you can call engagement, involvement with the people. These are all terms we have had before, but the reality is, how many of us really understand what is engagement? It's not merely conducting a survey, a satisfaction survey. It's actually where you let people make decisions and they come to the table and you support as not HR now, as top management to just review. Are you satisfied? Am I happy? Will you deliver on this? What do you need? I will support you. You need a budget, you need people. And people need to be owning their processes. So accountability will shift more to the leadership. So we are going to see a lot of that coming in, where instead of having a centrally controlled, people will be empowered to drive, and you take responsibility and accountability. If we miss that, then of course we will not be talking. We are going to see more and more of demand on specific skills, which either they are not. We are going to see a focus, and if you look around the best organizations, they are focusing a lot on developing leadership. They will see a lot of disruption in the structure of the organization. This is already there, because with tech and digital innovations, we cannot continue operating the same way. How many people do you need on a line, in a process? It's a button, whether it's a factory. I like what Stephen Wandera has said about insurance. These days, I don't need to stick to my insurance. I can change it. They will be calling me maybe 1 week later. I tell them, sorry, I renewed with the so-and-so. So they have to be on top. Maybe they call you, they send you a message 6 months. So we are going to see a lot of organizational design, a lot of change management, structures, traditional roles disappearing, reskilling, okay, but also creating a lot of opportunities, both inside and outside. We are going to see change driven from outside than inside. The old way of change management was a little bit driven from the inside. Now will be driven by demands from customers, your stakeholders. If I have to do business with you, I'm sorry, your platform is too difficult to make an order, or you take too long to center to process my invoices. So it's that. So if you cannot do it, if I am a delivery business and I want to help a supermarket, a hotel, or a service provider or a business person in becoming their partner in delivery, and you don't have a platform on that, I'll take that business anywhere. So you'll be meeting for me to walk to your kiosk or Duka, but I don't have. These days, I just need to call a shop, I order, I pay, they deliver. So those traditional ones. Now, even in river, without due respect, that's why you find all those matatos full of goods up there, and you're wondering where these tires came. Somebody just called, paid, and all that. So we are going to see a lot. We're going to see higher demand on what we call changing the employee experience. How does it feel to work in this organization? Is it empowered? Am I stifled? Am I able to utilize my talent? And that is why a lot of so-called millennials are moving from one place to the other, because if you stand in their way, they just feel choked, stifled, no freedom. But of course, they have to work within certain setup, rules are there, engagement and all that. So we're going to see a lot of trends that are going to come, and the CEOs are going to be demanding a lot from us. We will need to see a shift in what we know about business. You cannot, with all due respect to our profession, say you are serving a department when you don't actually understand it. The pain of that, when they say, I need this type of salesperson, and what do? You go ahead and bring them somebody who was dealing with the laptops, and you want him or her to go and sell trucks worth 10 million, 50 million, that kind of things. So again, it means reskilling, finding the new skills and the setup. So they're going to see a lot of that change. And with that, I would like also, Damaris, I have noticed one of my professional colleagues, Jenny Mutize, is here. She may want to just to tell us what is happening in the organization at the moment and what do we see disappearing, which we tend to cherish at the time being as managers.
Oh, great.
You can give us that space for a few minutes.
Okay. Yes. Jane Mutisia.
Before we close, yes. Before we
close the discussion.
Yes.
Yes. We can allow that, Mr. Mathangani, just for emphasis. We all here, like I said, to learn and get wisdom from across board. So Jane Mutisia, yes, I see you right there. Kindly tell us what's happening. In fact, I'd asked that question and once people shied off from answering. Take us through what's happening through your experience, just in one or two.
Okay. Basically, is what Madangani and Yusuf have said in
Yes.
terms of changing. The role is changing. The role of HR is changing. You're moving from what you do every day, because most of what HR people do can actually be done by digitization. Leave. I know some few years back, those of us who have 10 years experience, 5 years, you always used to have a leave form, a leave file. A file like this that had enough leave forms
Yes,
inside
yes,
their full-time job.
Mm.
That is already gone, and I know most of you know that is already gone from your plate. People can log in, apply, it's approved. You don't even need to keep a hard copy because you can see it online. Same in performance management. We used to keep printing hard copies, and now it's already online. You just log in, you put in your KPIs, your manager can see, your matrix manager can see, and even all those discussions can actually happen. So enough has been digitized. Enough. Recruitment. We would spend days sitting to do shortlisting, long listing, and all that. And maybe, I don't know how many of us know this, but even interviews now, after the shortlisting using the ATS, the recruitment software, now even interviews are online. Not with a person, but with a gadget, with a robot. So you actually go in, they have questions, they are timed, and they ask you, tell us about yourself. What is your experience? And you speak to a machine. You speak like the way we are speaking now in Zoom. And then now, the people who pass that level, maybe 3 or 2, are the only ones that will actually meet the person. What does that tell you? A department that the work that used to do as 10 people can actually now be done by 2, 3 people, or maybe 1 person. And remember, most of our lives, we have been 1 person at one point. We used to do all that, and used to be 2 people, 1 person. You know, the ratio of HR to the human being, to the people you're managing, that has always been very, very, very high. So sorry guys about that. So
that's also a disruption.
I'm telling you, working from home, yes, yeah. And that actually is because now working from home is changing the work of HR. We are the guys who talk about timesheets, attendance, where were you yesterday, why did you leave early? All those things, what used to be our work is actually being taken away as we watch. And I'm saying it's a transformation. So if we don't change, if we keep staying where we used to be, where we have always done, then you're going to be left where the tadpoles are left by water. You know, so you have to be able to actually just see and see how do we align. And like I think Madangani or Yusuf, I don't know who has said this, these functions will remain because the personal touch can never disappear. But you cannot give what you don't have. You have to move that notch high and know what now do I give. If you come to performance management, if your role as HR, let me remove myself from there, was asking people, have you filled the forms? Have you returned ABCD? You will have no work because now the system is doing that. But in terms of equipping people with the skills, ensuring your managers understand what performance management is all about, it's about productivity. It's not about telling guys you do not perform. Understanding that you cannot be the manager, you are exceeding, and other guys are failing what you succeed, then you'll have a space in that. We'll have space for including assistance, but a different level of doing things. It's more about customer service to the people that touch our desk. It's more about business performance. It's moving from us being an administrative role to actually being about productivity. Productivity. I think we have been placed at a very strategic role in terms of HR. We have no option now but to move from the admin bit of it, the paperwork and all that, which could be done by anybody. You remember a time back, any account that didn't have a HR, they would give finance or they would give the receptionist. Now we are moving from that level because the admin bit that they would actually do is actually being faced off, not by anybody. But time has come. Time has a way of facing things off. So if we don't transition, we are headed to a very, 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 very bad state. And like Madangani said, and I had said another time that I had hosted a similar training, if you just go online, just go HR transformation, business partners and all that, almost all the jobs for HR in the US, UK, diaspora, they are being called now HR transformation, business transformation coaches or something like that. Meaning we are moving from what we have always done to something different. And therefore we have to now be on the lookout to know where is the business going, and anything that is happening in the first world, give it 2 years to be here. Yeah. Actually, I
Even
like
2 years
but
is actually
Madangani said the KPMG is already doing it here. Those are the guys that consult for your organization, for your businesses. So give it time. Give it time. If you don't change will leave you. If you don't change will leave you. And this is sometimes you speak about things and they sound like theoretical, but it's actually true. And just to put into perspective, I don't know what the poster people would have voted when people kept when Safaricom maybe say something like we are moving to sending emails, we are moving to sending money through the mobile gadgets and ABCD. It looked like, some imagination. But things have changed. And if they don't align with the same, then the same, something happens and it's really bad. Or everybody used to have a secretary. Now nobody has a secretary. It's our turn. It's our turn for us to align. So our functions will still be there, but at a very different level that we have always begged people to go. Become strategic, become personal. So we have become policemen for a very long time, forcing people to comply with the policies, to do ABCD. Now we have to move from being policemen to being something different, to being coaches and mentors. So even as part of your transformation, you might have to think of doing now other courses that make you more of engagement, like Madangani has said, making people more engaged, making people more self-driven, making people more self-aware as we move forward. Thank you, Madangani. Thank you, Yusuf and Damaris, for organizing this.
Thank you very much, Jen, for adding actually so real and practical things happening in the space of the work, HR as a profession in the workplace. And those are real, actually, the things happening. You've just reminded me not long ago, when the former CEO of Safaricom came on board, there was this fight about buy this and that card, and it was a real business focus. But then they shifted to focusing to data, and people were asking, why data? I mean, who will need data for what? And see what has happened 3 years down the line. It's like what you're saying. Sometimes we think some things are out there, they are uko somewhere, but when they hit, you hardly actually notice, and you realize you're completely left behind. Last year, when the pandemic hit, we were saying, you're even reading a list of skills branded future skills for HR, or likely names for portfolios of HR. And they happening right now? Are we not seeing the manager in digital transformation actually as a portfolio right now? And we're seeing, like what Yusuf has said, coaching a highly needed skill in driving teams, because it is relevant to drive performance through coaching right now. So it's very vital, timely, and very relevant at this time. Yusuf, I don't know what you want to add, because I want to tie it right here. And participants, the chat is a bit quiet. I don't know whether we've gone too much deep into issues. Tell us whether you're learning something, whether we are adding value, and what lessons you're picking from this discussion. Kindly, if you have a question directed to the panelists or any of us, feel free to put it in the chat so we can come back to it in the remaining about 6 or so minutes. And please, I want to hear from, because now I've realized we have different professions actually represented here. What is happening to insurance, IT, people who are so close to this digital transformation? Maybe you can feel free to give us an experience as well from where you sit, people of IT as well as other professions. So we also see what's happening from there as human resource. Feel free to share through the chat, or even raise your hand or unmute yourself and share. But Yusuf, you can add something as we bring this to a close. You're mute, Yusuf, kindly unmute yourself.
Okay, sorry about that. Technology again. So thank you so much, Damaris,
Yes.
for that, and Jen for the insight. One thing that I would want as like a take home that people need to always remember is that technology will always be ahead, and organization will play a catch-up role. So you, as an individual at all level, your role is to ensure that you help your organization to be at the first park. Yeah,
Yes.
and the digital transformation aim basically is to create an agile organization that is ready to change as technology advances. So that is the most important thing about digital transformation. And my point of action from our listeners or participants is that, one, we have to build a positive culture, more so that you are working in remote areas and remote teams. We realize because of the COVID and all that, the change that we are seeing, people working remotely, we need to build a positive culture of trust. And trust, remember, is earned. Trust is earned. So as we go through this digital transformation, and that we are going to see more and more teams working remotely, we're going to really ensure that we build that positive culture of trust building. And then secondly, we have to adopt a change of mindset. We have to adopt a change of mindset, so that the entrepreneurial mindset, for specifically, what value are you going to add? What value are you adding to your organization? And because the environment, I mean, the things are changing. Every you look at the competitors, what are they doing so that you can do better than them? And then lastly, the well-being leadership. As we want to, if you really want to be successful in this journey of digital transformation, we have to embrace a well-being leadership, where we challenge the fraudulent view of that economic indicators are the driver of success. So let's not forget about thinking about money, and now start looking at people in the center of everything, so that their welfare, their social well-being, the psychological, mental, and etc. That is it for me, Damaris. In case
Yes.
it was really nice hosting me, and we look forward to hear from the participants.
Yes. Kindly, participants, please would ask, maybe if you want more on the recording as well, you leave your contact, your email, just so I don't forget before we close the questions. Put your email there kindly, so we could be able to send you the recording, and any question that will be comes through as well. You can as well feel free to leave your number. WhatsApps are easier to reach as well. So key into the chat the lessons you've learned. If you're finding this value, adding value to you, tell us what you've learned. As Yusuf has given us a very powerful take home on what we need to focus on, the bottom line, not forgetting the people aspect, very important. The well-being of the people is very key. It actually directly affects the level of performance they are in. They will perform at, that is. So well-being is very vital in this space as we disrupt ourselves, because disruption and change brings a level of stress and anxiety, and that does affect how we function as well. So managing that so it doesn't affect our well-being is key. So give us your email or your number so we'll be able to share the recording as well with you. Mathangani, you mentioned something very closely to, how we will be able to acquire new skills to enable us to leverage and rise in this disruption, as well as changing, and I think Jen Mutisi has also added, changing from central driven to people centered. People, because we are moving actually to people centered culture, people driving, being at the center stage of this change. And drive quality and quantity. And I think Yusuf has also added more on that. I just don't know whether you want to tie that down with the new ways of looking into business. I was lucky to actually go into another webinar that actually challenged me so much as in the space of human resource. And there was a question that we've been told several times, or very few times, that this time calls us as human resource to rise above just the routine, what John was talking about, because the routine will be taken care of by the technology. We need to be able to answer the question that is so simple and strategic to the business as well as the organization. Do we know how the organization actually makes money? Do we know how the organization drives its own functions at the bottom line? We need to be able to articulate and very vividly answer that question about how do we make money? How do we drive performance in this own organization at the same level as the way we do it when we asked about our strategic plans and about training plans and all that, because that's where strategic partnership of human resource is at this level. So talking about business, Mathangani, in 1 minute, what is it that now needs to change completely and connect human resource to the big picture, because that's where the world is heading? You're mute, Mathangani, kindly unmute.
I'll answer that by posing some questions, and the answer.
And remember, you only have a minute.
Yes. So the first thing we have to do is to ask ourselves, what are the external trends and stakeholders' expectations from the business? That will enable us to get the right people to address those. Then we ask ourselves, what are the critical future business needs and critical capabilities that the business must have to achieve its goals? Then we ask ourselves, how do we organize HR work to meet the current and future business needs, stakeholders, customers, suppliers, and internal people? Then how do we develop HR professionals to have the highest business impact? Once you ask yourself these questions, whether you are the manager, the CEO, the answers then will give you the way forward. And what I can conclude is that Pristine Management, we try to answer all these questions and help HR professionals at various levels, executive management executives. Two, we have a coaching program which will take you through this so that you start making an impact within your organizations. If you'd like to hear much more, you can get in touch with the links that was provided in the card and which I've also put in the chat. And that is how we can position ourselves to make ourselves relevant for current and the future. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mathangani. I am aware you coming very strongly in supporting the human resource, family or profession, in actually being able to navigate this disruption as well. And I know this just being one of the platforms that you're driving this vision on. I understand also in your programs, you're actually helping us as human resource in understanding what really are the key drivers that we need to focus on. there are so many things that we need to focus on, but we cannot focus on everything at the same time. It's just a matter of prioritizing. So we can create the 2080 kind of move within this disruption. So the enablers that we need to focus on, Mathangani, I'm just adding on because I know you forgot to mention that, to drive the effectively, efficiently, connect yourself to the vision and the strategic goals of the organization, speak to the strategy of the organization and align all initiatives, behaviors, and structures we have at human resource towards the business conversation in the boardroom and whatever leadership table we're in. I know that program, you have it very impactful. It's an extension of these ladies and gentlemen who are here, and get in touch with Mathangani. I don't know how many people would want actually to be engaged in that discussion. If you want this extension on how to participate in identifying your enablers to drive this transformation, just put a yes there so Mathangani can know who are interested and who to follow the leads on, as well as how do we speak to the business and strategic goals and strategic objectives on organization through the initiatives and procedures structures we have. If you are interested, say I'm interested in the chat, then we will be able to get back to you, of course, through Mathangani and us, the team. So use the chat, let's know, leave your contacts, express your interest as well in the chat. I see Donna, thanks very much. Caro, thanks very much. Galaxy Tab A, I don't know who that is. There's someone here called T who is really making some noise here. Kabue, please. Yes, Galaxy Tab A, thanks. You can see your contact. Judith, my takeaway as HR professional, we need to move quickly. I like that. We need to tick with speed. I agree with that. To strategic partnership for this is to remain the you didn't quite finish that, but you left the email. Thanks. That's very true. We need to move with speed. Otherwise, you'll be catching up, and this catching up with technology means you're already out. Thank you very much for very insightful, inspiring, and resourceful information. Thanks, participants. Again, I said, yes, I'm very interested. I'm very interested. Beatrice Telimo, thanks. Janet, I'm interested. If you really want and been struggling to understand what do I need to focus on to move faster, like someone has put it as a human resource to drive my transformation agenda as a leader in human resource, just key in there, I'm interested, and you will be actually guided on how you can articulate and achieve that within the shortest time possible for yourself first and for the teams, for those who are leading teams. Just key in there, I'm interested. Make sure you leave your contacts so Mathangani can be able to get back to you. Otherwise, we appreciate your patience for such an insightful discussion on HR disruption and how we need to take this forward as the space of HR as well as the other professionals who were able to join. So Mathangani, I want you to give your closing comments because we've overridden some minutes there. I don't know whether Yusuf is there. You say your buys and then I'll close this.
Yeah, Yusuf, you can make your closing if you have. Yusuf?
Yeah, my mind, I have to catch my flight. I think, I hope I load the
Right,
yes,
okay,
let me say, Yusuf. Okay. Yusuf, I noticed you're in a breeze there. Yes. Are you next to the beach?
Yes. Actually, I'm enjoying the cool breeze here down Mombasa, but I have to catch my flight back. I really want to thank you and everyone who has made it. I know Saturday is usually, for those who are working Monday to Friday, Saturday is their day to do all this. But for their patient sacrifice and for attending our session, I know we are going to disrupt in our workplace, and let's see the impact. Let's have the impact of these sessions that we've been trying to give back as a way to our profession. So next time you're invited, please don't miss. And to you, Damaris, you've been a nice help. Actually, I should give you something. Remind me when I'm in Nairobi. I'll get you something. You've been a nice host. And coach, for your insights there. Thank you so much, and have a nice weekend.
Just before you go, Yusuf, there's something actually I forgot. I wanted you to actually tell us a bit on going back to basics, the little simple technologies actually to use. But I'm
Oh,
reminded it will be in the next session by Mr.
no, I can do
Matangani.
it. I can do it.
But I
I can
appreciate
do
a
it.
lot. I actually followed your article published in many platforms, especially in the Institute of Leadership and Management, on the HR strategies for flourishing Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to go and read this, find how, you know, Mr. Saleh is sticking with this transformation is no joke. He's actually simplified it for us. You can pick one or two things there, I tell you, on how HR strategy for flourishing Africa. We are Africans. We want to actually put Kenya there. So I think in the next session, we'll be actually bringing this, going back to basics, so we can write simple technologies to driving this agenda. Thanks very much. It's just key in Yusuf Saleh and HR strategies for flourishing Africa from Kenya, and you'll see for yourself there. Thanks very much, Yusuf. It's been an honor having you
Thank you
today.
so much.
Yes,
Thank you.
we'll give you an opportunity, I hope. Matangani next time, so you can
Yes.
actually, it's an insightful perspective actually into this.
I'm always available, Damaris. I'm
Oh,
always
thanks.
available. And you know
It's
that,
really
yes.
good. It's really good to know that someone we can count on. Reliability is actually a skill for this disruption as well. Thanks so much, Matangani. Kindly wind.
Yes, thank you, Damaris. I just want to conclude that one, learning is a process, and it is only those who go beyond what they think they have learned that keep up with the new development in the world. So invest in yourself, get out of your comfort zones, go out there, look at the skills that you need, look for mentors, look for coaches, look out for the success factors and behaviors that you see in those people you feel are doing well. So go out, and thank you very much for taking your time. I know we take a lot of these things sometimes for granted because we think we are there, we are okay. And the tragedy of us in our organizations is that when the change comes, it sweeps us. So we are saying transform yourself to remain relevant and employable than being transformed into being unemployable and becoming irrelevant. So thank you very much. We're here to support you. Feel free to get in touch with us. We do run 10 weeks program, both at executive, entry level, and even CSUT. The people you see out there, thank you very much. We hope to see you in the next. This was series 3. We are coming with series 4. We are running one minimum of one every month. That is Pristine Management Solutions. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Awesome, awesome. I think we close on a high there. Thanks very much. Vio, please, and the rest who just said much interested, make sure you've left your contact so we can find out, Masangani and team, find out how they can help you in what you want to accomplish in this space of disrupting yourself, as well as driving the agenda of digital transformation in HR. So leave your contacts there and indicate that you're interested so they can narrow down to those people. Otherwise, from myself, I'm so much honored, happy that we were able to muliandamana na mimi mpaka tamati up to this point. So thanks very much. My name is Damaris Ndungwa, lead learning and development strategist in Blue Concepts Africa. I'm very keen on supporting managers, teams, as well as individuals struggling with how to perform better, how to drive performance and change management with what is happening currently. I am also a culture transformation expert. A lot coming through there in how we are, evolving our organizations, especially the people aspect, to adapt the desired behaviors. We'll be able to navigate organizations to the new, vision and frontier many organizations are facing. So that's my space. You're wondering on how to build your team, how to adopt your team, how to build a resilient, agile team, all aspects of culture that you want them to shift, feel free to get in touch. I am so happy that we got here on time with great lessons. The chat is lit. Let's win together. I can see that. That's a tagline I like from you. So thanks, team. Very wonderful. George Wasike, you must say something. Where are you? I've not seen your palm trees today. George, where are you?
He was around.
Well, I'm right here.
Oh.
Where are you? I've been looking for the palm tree. Oh, today you are serious in an office.
we you know, in life you have to keep changing
moments
your station, otherwise as Madangani says, you will be left.
You'll be left. You'll be swept off.
So you have to keep moving and ensure that you progress with the trends, but really